have homes on separate coasts, go dive in Greece with squids. Could have been so bleeping rich, but instead we had kids. They won't smile for a photo, they won't eat the food we choose. That's why we're heading to the Parents' Lounge to drown ourselves in booze. Every day we're more exhausted, we haven't slept in years. They hit me in the nuts so bad, my eyes filled up with tears. And yes, we'd like to fake our death and go off of the grids, but the truth is we are softies and we truly love our kids. So join us every Tuesday night to laugh at all our pain. Evening in the Parents' Lounge is the cure to staying sane. Welcome, Jobo, and every single other Parents' Lounge fan. Tonight we have a fantastic show. I'm very excited to be here. I literally just ended a meeting. My daughter's going from 5th grade to 6th grade. We'll talk about it. They just had a Zoom meeting to let all the parents know the changes that are going to be happening from 5th to 6th grade to get into junior high school. And you can see the sweat pouring off me. My wife and I were texting each other of how are we going to get through this? And we both talked about
You're not.
We are not. I feel like we are not. But we have such a great show. We're on Tuesday tonight because we have some shows on Thursday live and we can't make it. So thank you guys for tuning in. We already have a ton of people coming in here. You can find us live everywhere. But if you are watching us on Twitter or Instagram, we cannot see your comments. And we love bringing the fans into the show with your comments. So please come over to YouTube, The Parents' Lounge, or Facebook, The Parents' Lounge, and watch us there. I'm Jamie Kaler, joined, as always, by my eclectic group of Cavaliers here. Jason Gowan, Taylor So Cool, and Justin Ruppel. And we have such a fantastic guest for you tonight. If you love the voiceover world, as I know Dr. Ruppel and Captain Sokol do, then you are going to love this cat.
Wow.
He is...
Leaves
what?
me out of it.
And Captain Winnie the Pooh, Jason
Yes,
G.
I don't understand why you've left me out.
Because you're Pooh, and Pooh has to be left out because otherwise we don't love him because he's not bullied, which is something I just learned a lot about.
Thanks for noticing me.
Oh, Eeyore. I don't know what happened. By the way, I guess since we're on that theme, ladies and gentlemen, the voice of Barney and many others, a fantastic voice actor himself, Korey Durham, is here tonight. Korey, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Well, I mean, I love you and you love me, and the whole thing seems to be falling into place. So,
And I love you too.
Not even a few minutes.
Whoa. Hold on a second.
did you want me to bury the
out
lead?
of
I mean,
Let him do it. Let him do it. Say it back to him. He
And
needs it.
I love you too. It's so great to see you.
Holy crap. Corey.
now, are you legally restrained from saying horrible things in that voice, or is that something?
Oh yeah. I can't do that.
Good. We would never ask you to. But I mean,
no.
after we
Yeah,
end the
no.
show and we all
I feel
hang
like
in the
we
group,
absolutely would have if he hadn't put the disclaimer.
Oh
out
yeah,
there.
definitely.
you know how
Yeah.
much
All right,
money
I
you
got-
could make on Cameo just when people go, "Hey man, can you tell my friend to go F himself?" Like, oh,
Right.
hey.
Yeah.
Well, don't make him do. I have a question right off the top, Corey.
Okay. What's up?
What was this a character that you? I don't know. I'm not asking your age because gentlemen never ask. But this character was like hit me when I was 9. So like this was in my sweet spot. Was this a character that you grew up with as a kid and now do as an adult?
Yeah. So I was born in '93, so I'm 31 years old.
Hey, don't rub it in, jerk.
Oh,
That's right. I was born in
Good night,
90.
everybody.
So.
Good night, everybody. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Jamie was
So-
already qualified for AARP by the time you were born.
Wait, what year were you born, Corey?
'93.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude.
I was a
I
'90s
had
baby.
a
So
killer year that year. I was in San Diego. I had just got out of the Navy. Literally, I got out in '92.
Wow.
And I booked my first SeaWorld commercial.
Oh, I tore it up. No cell phones. I remember living in
Suit
Pacific
Riot.
Wait, you're gonna blow right through the Sea World. What did you do in a Sea World commercial?
My very first audition I went on, I was in some improv group, and this woman said, "Hey, I'm an agent. I'll send you out." And I go, "Sounds great." And so she sent me out for this crazy audition, and it was on St. Patrick's Day, and it was a cattle call, and they went down the list, and the guy was like, "Sing Danny's Boy," out of nowhere, and I was just like, "Oh, Danny Boy!" And it's terrible. And then the whole ad is me just watching Shamu jump, and I made like 30 grand, and I was like, "This is the business for me."
Yeah.
And then I didn't work for a long time, but yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so 93 is when I was 9.
Watching me jump into a pool.
I was 9, Corey. So that's when I saw Barney. So was Barney still a big part of your life at 5 and 6 and 7 years old?
Yeah, so it started like in the early 90s and I think it went on for like almost 20 years. So, but it was really popular in the 90s. So, yeah, I grew up watching Barney, and I actually went to some of the live shows in Dallas at the Majestic back in the day. So, because I live right, about an hour and a half north of Dallas. So, it was a big part of my early childhood. And then I stopped watching it for a long time, and then I had a daughter and introduced it to her, and then started doing the voice because of that. And yeah.
Wow. So how old's
your
your daughter?
I put up stuff online. She's 3. She'll be 4 in August.
That's a good age.
So
That's
I'm
awesome. Age.
Getting it's a fun age. God. It's really fun.
I mean, is she like the hero of her school, where everyone's like, "What does your dad do?" "Oh, he installs carpet." "What does your dad do?" "He works at Chief Auto Parts." "What does your dad do?" "He's Barney." Like you must crush.
The reason you get out of bed. Yeah.
She's not in school yet. She actually starts somewhere later this year, but everywhere we go, occasionally she'll bring it up, and she'll just be like, "My daddy's Barney," and they'll be like, and whoever she says it to, they're like, "Okay, what is that?" They don't believe her. So then I have to be like, "No, she's telling you the truth. I do voice Barney." So, but yeah,
who I feel the worst for in this whole situation is the dude in the Barney suit.
Yeah, no, I would never do that.
I gotta act all day, and you're not even gonna let me speak. And they go, "No, dude, your voice doesn't work." But you,
like
David, suit on.
Yeah, David Prowse here. It's like Darth Vader.
Right? Oh, that's right. Yeah. And he's like, James Earl Jones. I almost had.
No, I am your father, Luke.
No, like David, just we're gonna keep that line in. We're not using him at all.
When they probably shot that, he was probably like, "Man, wait till you see this movie. I crushed it." Yeah. And then he sees the, crazy story aside, tangential. The movie Her was a different woman. Mm-hmm. She shot the whole movie on set with Emily Watson. Yeah, to be the voice with Joaquin Phoenix, the whole thing. And she does the whole movie with him, and then in post they go, "What's Scarlett Johansson doing this week?"
No.
And they brought her in, and she ADR'd the whole movie. Is what I've.
No.
But listen, that's when you have a voice like James Earl Jones. I mean, now there's AI James Earl Jones. What do you think about that, Corey? Like, eventually you'll be AI'd out.
Yeah, well, you never know. As long as you keep creating, new stuff,
And being creative.
Did you do a lot of voice work before? I think you were a huge voice actor, and then you kind of fell into the Barney part.
No, it's kind of the opposite. So, I was doing just local commercial stuff. I've never had an agent. I've never had a manager. I've never had any of those things. So I was just doing stuff for local businesses and then direct marketing to Dallas area stuff. And so the Barney thing came along because I started posting stuff on Instagram about 2 years ago, and just posting up videos of different things, different voices that I can do. And somebody saw me from Canada that was doing a Barney tribute show. So live shows where they had a costume and then they would go out. So they were like, "Hey, we've got this script. Can we hire you to do the voice of Barney?" So I did this 30-minute live show, and someone at Mattel saw that, and they were like, "Okay, well, we've seen that he can do a 30-minute live show with the voice."
Wow.
So they were just like, "Let's hire him." So they just reached out to me, and they were like, I get this email. It was like, hey, I've got an NDA for you. We want to work with you. It's like, okay.
Wow.
So
What a great
That's
story.
insane.
So-
Wow.
Literally,
so I've been doing
I-
like commercial voiceover for like local businesses. I've been doing podcasts, like ad reads and stuff for YouTube, different people, the different things. But this is like the big, like where I got this with a big company.
See, this is one of those situations where if any kids are watching this, or any parent is going to show this to a kid they have, of how you're in class and people say stuff like the voices and the silliness that doesn't really lead to anything. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Literally, it
Robin
does.
Williams.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what he did as a kid. He created all these characters, but yeah.
it's that scene in Miss Doubtfire where he goes, I do voices, and then someday that turns out to be the thing you do. I'm sounding like Larry Miller here. That is the thing you do. Now
Can you do
you
5
are
levels
the
of
guy.
drunkenness. Do his 5 levels of drunkenness.
Here's the
That's my
5 levels of Korey becoming the dinosaur. Level 1, he does it as a child. Ooh, that's good. He does it later on.
Larry Miller is one of my favorite comics of all
mine
time. I think
too,
some of the
man.
younger people might not know who Larry Miller is.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's
But
so
like,
good.
Korey, did it all start? I mean, like, not just because Jason and Jamie and Taylor were all 4 of us are people who either aspire to or have been in or are currently doing voices on stage or in film and television.
Mm-hmm.
And as people who are spreading that out there, is it like was it something that you did just to support your own, like, was there a part of you that said, I have to change my voice so I'm to get along with other people? Or is it just something you did because you know what I mean? Like,
I just really liked cartoons when I was a kid, and I still really love cartoons. So I started, watching. My dad introduced me to. I have a really weird, like. A lot of people my age aren't going to watch what I watch on television. Like, my favorite era of television is like the 60s and 70s. So like I love, Gilligan,
H.R. Puffin stuff.
Batman. Oh yeah, HR. I know HR Puffin stuff.
I know
all the Sid and Marty Krofft stuff. I know.
Jimmy,
So,
get the flute.
so like all of that stuff I grew up with. Lost in Space, Star Trek.
Yeah. That's what
all
I-
the stuff
that's-
like that.
That's what I grew up with. Yeah.
Yeah. So my dad basically raised me on that stuff. So Looney Tunes was a huge part of my childhood, and
Well, you
now
look
my
at, like,
daughter
Mel-
absolutely loves it.
When Mel Blanc,
Sorry.
you see like Mel Blanc interviewed on the old Tonight Shows or something, who did all like
Yeah.
Bugs
All of
Bunny and everybody. I mean, literally all of
awesome.
them, and you're like, that's the same guy. Like
Yeah.
I can do myself and exaggerated versions of myself. These guys, Taylor, Jason, and Justin, are way more characters of creativity. But it's like when I see Hank Azaria go in and out of different voices, or when we've had Carlos Alazraqui on the show, who's done a million voices. And they can just almost, it's like a Phil Hendry thing where they can do conversations. And that's when I'm like, oh, arguably one of the greatest skills on earth. Like, it's so amazing to me when I see somebody be able to jump back and forth and do full, like Phil, I don't know if you know Phil Hendry, when he did the radio shows and nobody knew he was the caller and the dude.
and
then years
the
later,
radio
where people
host.
like, it's the same guy. And it's like, that's not possible. And
That was
arguably
so
one of the most
amazing.
talented people who's ever lived. And it's crazy.
Without a doubt. Without a
Yeah.
doubt. Without a doubt.
It's even
Yeah.
fun going back to like when I grew up. I was 90, so just a few years older than you, Korey, not by much. But Aladdin was my excitement into voice acting, and that was my kind of entry to like, this is really cool that you could do all this. And it's fun going back and watching that they have hours and hours of Robin Williams just riffing and watching him go and doing all these characters. It's kind of insane. But I think maybe there's part of that you were introduced to the stuff that you were. That's why I like doing voices, because like I grew up on Looney Tunes. I grew up on a lot of older stuff. Like I'm 6 years old watching Ace Ventura. Probably not the best movie at 6 years old to watch, but that's what got me to do all these wacky kind of things. And I think maybe you kind of matured in that sense of your humor and your style. And that's probably why
I
that
mean,
kind of
back in those days, everybody went smoking. Like
Yeah.
everyone did an impression.
Boogerman.
Oh, right, yeah, everyone.
Yeah,
So
those were great
broken.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
watched a lot of Looney Tunes, and I think that was where I kind of, like you were saying, one guy doing all these voices, and I was like, that sounds like a really cool job, and so I was like, I really want to do that, and so I practiced from like when I was a kid. I was probably terrible at it when I was a child. I don't have any. Luckily, there's no footage of that, so.
I bet you weren't. I bet you weren't.
But
I bet you're actually.
Yeah.
I bet you're good. I bet you're much better than you think at it.
That's
What
so
do you remember?
Maybe,
What was your
I don't
first
know.
voice you remember doing? Do you remember? You remember what that would be?
Man, I don't know.
I'll help you. Mine was Splinter in the first Ninja Turtles movie.
Oh wow, really?
I remember when
I
I
would
was 9 years old.
probably-
Yeah.
I'd probably guess that it was like something off of Saturday Night Live with Dana Carvey doing stuff, where I was trying to
Oh,
do that.
Very
Yep.
nice.
Because
We
Dana
used to do-
Carvey and he was like, it's not so much. I mean, yeah, some of the voices sound close, but it's not really about that. His was more about building a character behind it and making like exaggerating everything, which was cool. And but then I started, like I said, I was watching a lot of Looney Tunes, and
So I learned how to do Bugs Bunny, Doc, and that was one of my favorite voices to do.
and
Holy
Then I learned how to do Daffy Duck, and that was even better, fur.
and
That's
Rabbit
so
thieving,
great.
duck season, rabbit thieving, duck season.
So good.
So you have to do that.
So I used to be the beauty of it is the creativity. Like I'm sure when you
Yeah.
read to your kids, like I'll read stories and I'll change my voices for all the characters or whatever to make it really interesting for the kids, and honestly to make it interesting for myself to do this thing. But I used to, like, you guys are great impressionists. You can actually nail, like, Justin's list of characters is insane. But I was in an improv class and they would be like, because a lot of times people create all new characters, which I also find so intriguing, whether it's Mike Myers or somebody. And it's not an impression, but it starts out as an impression. Like Linda Richmond and his coffee shop he's doing this woman from Long Island. He's spot on. It's an impression of his wife's mother. And we used to do that in an improv class. And it was so creative because they'd go, in this scene, you're George C. Scott. And they'd be like, I don't even really know what he sounds like. Doesn't matter. Go. And all of a sudden you're like, I'm George C.
Wow.
Scott. Doesn't sound anything like George C.
Wow.
Scott. But all of a sudden people started to really create new characters. And it would start to find its own thing. And so it wasn't a straight up impression, but it ended up becoming a character that, when
That's a
people do
really
something
good. That's a really good exercise, Jamie.
It's
That's
a great
like-
exercise
yeah.
to do, to go take somebody who nobody does impressions of, and you go, well, you have kind of a thought process of just see what comes out. And you could see some people go, oh, I can't do that. And you're like, and it was this
Just try.
amazing release of like, might not work. I don't know. But who cares?
I-
And it was a commitment
nailed it,
exercise,
Jamie.
really.
You nailed it, Jamie. It's like, even if you can have part of the impression or kind of that one little zinger or something, whether it's Jeff Goldblum.
I call it the key.
Yeah,
the key,
and then what you
Well,
said, Corey, you just get in the creativity behind it and then kind of run with it. Like, okay, and then you literally become something new.
You're
Not just
something
that
new.
character.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's creativity inhibited.
What was
and
it,
it's
Jason?
so magical.
Well,
Jason?
Justin, you do like the one word impressions like Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Baseball.
But if I said, Justin, let me hear your Teddy Roosevelt.
Well, I'm here today to I don't know why I went.
That's exactly it. But commit
exactly.
and go.
It went-
I don't know what he says, but I'm a rough rider and I'm coming to town and I'm gonna.
Exactly.
Come on,
That's
get
it.
rid of the papers
And
off,
so
y'all.
Exactly right.
whatever that means to you, it's not so much about, because the back of your head, you're like, what do they say? Perfection is the enemy of good. Is that right?
Progress. Yeah. Oh yeah. Perfection's the enemy of good.
Perfection's the enemy of progress, y'all.
It is, because you sit there and you go, people would start something and they go, oh, this isn't right. There is no right. You're being
When
creative.
it comes to creativity,
Nobody
there is no
cares.
right.
And listen, you write 100 jokes, 90 of them suck, 10 are pretty great, and 3 are monsters. That's the key. And so we used to do, you do trust falls or whatever in whatever acting class, and the beauty of watching somebody explore their voice, whatever they're doing, it's so creative to me, and I love having these guys, especially because everybody goes off and impressions just, we use Justin like a dancing monkey, where I'm like, what would Jeff Bridges say if he smoked a doobie with Barney?
Listen, man, I don't love you per se. I like you plenty, and that's good enough, man.
And that's good enough.
Hold on, Korey. I have to ask everybody who does impressions this question, because this is always something that intrigued me from the voice world. Do you do a voice of somebody or a cartoon character that you don't like? Like there's a person or a character that you like, every time that comes on screen, boy, I don't like that character, or that celebrity. I don't like that person necessarily, but I do the voice. Is there anybody in the repertoire that you do like that?
Not really. I think most of the time when I'm trying to learn a voice, like it's really because I really enjoy that voice. So
good. That's exactly my theory.
I
didn't want to leave the witness.
Like it, I probably wouldn't do it.
I've known Korey for 21 minutes and 18 seconds, and I'm going to tell you right now.
remember back
we
when.
all get cast. Like I shot something today, and I played big tech. I was like this big smart ass banker guy who's not looking for the future because the market doesn't open till Monday, and that's me. I wasn't acting. That's who I am, and so I'm going to tell you right now. Korey's arguably one of the nicest people who's ever lived. There's no other way that dude gets Barney. He's never. Have you ever said it? Have you ever sworn? Have you ever sworn?
Oh yeah, absolutely, all the time. Yeah.
He didn't do it.
In fact, some of the people that I work, so I still have another job as well right now, and so a lot of the people at that job, they'll be like, "Do you think that people know that the guy that's doing Barney says the F word all the time?" And I'm like,
that's not
true.
They don't. Allegedly,
it's alleged. Yeah.
Allegedly says the friend word. F is for friend.
Yeah, friend. Yeah. Friend, yeah.
This is for
Listen,
friend.
That's the only word that Barney knows.
I absolutely love making new friends.
Yeah. But
Buddy,
I'll tell you a story.
you
You were talking about, do I do voices for like when I'm reading books? So there's a funny story behind that. So a couple, like 2-3 months ago, I was asked by a guy named Joseph Fernandez who worked on the original Barney. He was doing marketing for it. So he was doing like the books. He was an illustrator. He was a photographer. He was worked in the marketing department. And so they asked me to come to a Barney reunion dinner for their group. And so they had me as a guest of honor, which I thought was hilarious because I was like, I'm just now starting doing this and I'm apparently a guest of honor, which I thought was funny. But but anyway, so they invite me, and all these people that are all mostly from marketing, mostly from the books and stuff. So they brought me 3 and 4 books a piece that they worked on and just gave them to me. And a lot of them were sealed, and these are from like the 90s. So it was kind of cool. So I bring them home, and I was going through some of the ones that weren't sealed, and I was showing my daughter. And so she was like, she goes, "Daddy, can you read this book to me?" And I was like, yeah, I can read it to you. And then I go sit on the couch and start getting ready to read it to her. And she comes walking back with the Barney doll. And she's like, "Daddy, I want Barney to read it to me." And I was like, okay. So I sit there and I'm reading it to her as Barney. And she just totally ignores me the whole time. And she's talking directly to the doll. And she's like, "Barney, do you like this book?" And I'm like,
"Oh, I sure do. It's one of my favorites."
And just in character the whole time. And she just absolutely loved it. And it's just funny because, to her, it's Barney. Right. I mean, it's just funny.
Jason's the king of that, too. Jason, you always, we've talked that many times.
So my oldest has this core group of 5 stuffed animals. And so I created characters for each one of them. And they each of them struggle with something he has kind of struggled with in his life. And so they interact with each other at every bedtime. And now it's super sad for me that we're starting to pull out of this. And before we cover the really important topics, Bob the Mouse, where I was really looking forward to his sex talk, but I don't know that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I gave my hand a voice and I'm like, sounds like somebody needs a spanking, and it's scared.
I'm hoping that's your wife.
Yeah. He goes, "Ooh, wouldn't somebody needs a spanking? Daddy needs a spanking."
and the Kaler house they do. One fish.
Can I jump to you
No
because
go,
before this whole show started, I really did. My school, actually, to their credit, I'm so impressed. It was a Zoom for all the parents that I was like, really, do I go to a Zoom? And so I go into the Zoom. It's a very small school. There's only really one class per grade, and it was for fifth graders going to sixth grade. And I was like, what's the big deal? And they go, no, it's a big deal. And so she talked extensively about everything changes apparently to junior high school. For me, junior high school was a great memory. High school, not so great, but I loved the junior high jump for me was great, but apparently it can be rough. Justin, you're shaking your head. Was it rough for you?
That first year.
I mean, you had a full beard by the age of 9, so I don't. And you had a unibrow, probably.
I did, but I was very small. I was very, very, very petite.
All beard,
and it was just one big eyebrow. I was like
Cousin It,
I was like
Cousin It.
I was gonna say, and I went to do the voice, and I'm with 4 impressionists. Wait, I'm not doing the It. Who's got the It voice?
I remember that being the time when you had a locker. You had periods you had to go to, and so that was everything up until that point was just you're with one teacher all year.
That's right.
And then grade 6, all of a sudden you're like, here's 6 different teachers, and you're like, oh my God. And it was trying to keep your head around that.
That's what they just talked about. They said it's actually a big deal. It's huge change, and they are moving, and they have to be prepared, and there will be ramifications. Here's one of the other things they talked about is student dishonesty because of AI. And because of Chat GPT and because of cheating. They're like,
oh yeah,
they go home for an AR book report and they go, let me punch that in. Let me see what the AI says about Charlotte's Web. Oh, Charlotte's Web's sad. You don't want to,
Bro, you're not joking. The other day I was writing. One of my friends had to write a resume, and I took their old resume, and I said, "Hey, ChatGPT, this is all I said. Here's the old resume. Here are 2 new jobs this person has had. Make it look like a resume for this type of job in 2024." It was done in less than 6 seconds.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. It was better than I could have done it. And I'm thinking to myself,
Korey, what was junior high school for you? Do you remember it as like this landmark change in your life?
Well, I mean, I remember it was no, I mean, not really. It wasn't really that big of a change.
Hormones, boys and girls. I remember kissing, and I remember actually. Maybe we'll get into it. I remember some 8th grade shenanigans. Oh, dude, eighth grade.
Oh yeah, 8th grade.
Taylor, do you want to talk about junior high school real quick?
Wow, it's a time I like to forget. I just walked in.
This show should just be called Jamie and 4 Impressionists. That's the new podcast, Jamie and 4 Impressionists.
It was an
Taylor,
awkward
what
time.
happened besides walking? That's the best it's gonna be.
Wow.
It stings.
Jamie, you were good looking and charismatic early. Everybody else in this chain had to figure something out. I think you were making out in middle school
for a while.
I didn't shave till junior high school. I didn't shave till college.
Girls didn't want this in 6th grade. They wanted the NSYNC kid.
And look at them now.
A prepubescent 8th grader who looked like a newborn baby.
I remember, and there were open showers. There was the little boy from Up. That's what I looked.
Dude, our showers had no stalls. There was no stall in the showers. It was just a giant showering area, and dudes were like, I was like, yeah, nothing. I got nothing down there, brother.
Right.
I used to call it my mantle of pride. I gotta break that. This should be an album title.
I had the crazy 70s ball throw at 4th grade.
You have to show pictures. Are there pictures of you with a ball? Are you had a ball throw?
No, I didn't.
Oh, ball throw. I thought you were saying you had a ball throw.
Oh my God.
There are pictures, but I'm not showing.
Corey's like, listen, I can't be in this show anymore, dude. I'm gonna get canceled. I'm Barney.
No, you're good.
It's it's honest parent talk, and that's. Does anyone else remember junior high school? the leap. I don't remember it being that cataclysmic, but apparently they also
here's what they
Go
did
ahead.
teach, and tell me if this is what they talked about. When you went between classes, it was suddenly broken into subjects like English and history and math.
Yeah.
And so for the first time in your little head, you had to compartmentalize and then also go, how do I manage my time? You know,
They
like
talked about that.
we are planners. That was the first time
They
we got
talked about that.
a little agenda
Yeah,
thing. Like, I gotta organize my life.
They talked about
I think-
ramifications, how high schools are now looking at 6th grade transcripts.
No!
to get accepted into high school. Yep.
Whoa.
Yep.
in
They
the high
talked
school, you have
about
to get accepted into high school.
well, certain high schools here, Notre Dame High or Harvard Westlake. If you want to try to go to Harvard Westlake or you want to go to Campbell Hall, dude, it's and my daughter's 10. She's 10 years old. She's turning 11 in August, and
So she's got to have a portfolio by next year.
Are you gonna help her put it together?
And this is why we have Barney here
References?
to bring us to a simpler
There
time.
was one amazing thing that happened in it, and I want to hear what other parents have to say about this, because there was one amazing thing, and the whole that's going on forever. And then back in my head, I'm like, look, teachers are. Carl Nelson says teachers are using AI to evaluate students' papers. That's absolutely true.
That's true.
You can put a kid's paper
AI to
into the
use
computer,
AI.
and you can see, right? Corey,
They
you know about that stuff.
They had that originally before. I remember when I was in college, there was like sites that you could literally just put your whole like essay
Plagiarism.
and then it would be able to pinpoint all the bits.
Yep.
And because someone in my class had done that, and then they like, no, this is like literally 75% of this is no.
We used to
That's why I
rephrase
always
it. It would
used
be you would
Someone.
read the encyclopedia, and it would go, Ben Franklin was a printer, and then you would write, a printer is something Ben Franklin was. Like,
Okay, hold on. Let's ask Versona me if he will help me out with parenting my child.
Speaking of AI,
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
no.
for those of you not familiar, this is the AI
my
me.
God.
We're gonna let him talk. This is the first time he's appeared on the show. Let's say
Nikes.
hello. Say hello. You are live on the Parents Lounge. Say hello to everyone.
Oh my God.
here it is.
It'll take him a second to go through it, but then he'll answer, and
Okay.
then
Well, shut up. I want to hear him.
It's not there yet.
He's
Justin.
still
have to press
thinking.
play.
He's still thinking. Will you
So
guys
this is an
tell-
AI voice model of you?
Yes. So he's
Oh, but he
He's,
came back with a
um,
text. He didn't play. He didn't.
no. It has to load the file, so it has to process it.
Oh,
So,
because
here
yeah,
we go.
I see it loading there. All right, here.
All
we
right,
go.
hold on.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be in the Parents Lounge with all of you. I hope you're having a great day.
Holy crap, dude! The way he said "hope," play it again, because that's you. You punch your O's. You were
What
like
the-
hope. Say
What
it
was
again.
that?
Hi, everyone.
That's
It's
not
great to be in the Parents Lounge with all of you. I hope you're having a great day.
Hope.
That is the way you say hope. Hope. One more time.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be in the Parents Lounge with all of you. I hope you're having a great day.
So if for
Jason,
everyone
do an
who's listening,
impression of
that's
you.
not
Jason, do an
that's
impression of
AI
you.
Jason.
Jason, do an impression of you real quick.
Do an impression of me.
Yeah, say hi everyone. I hope you're having a great day, like he did.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're having a great day.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's so close. It's crazy, man.
Well, that's just
See-
throwing it away. Jason is the AI.
So
guy.
you could
He's
like
just throwing-
you could
So
like
do you see
build
what-
an AI voice model here, and then you could use it to do all of your audiobooks, and you don't have to do audiobooks.
Oh my god, dude! I
never
never
even thought about that.
thought of audiobooks.
Well,
Yeah,
I could
'cause, like,
And here
Because,
I've
you
been
know, Corey-
spending hours editing. I've been doing
Yeah.
audiobooks lately.
Corey,
Oh,
are you
that
a
would be
big audiobook guy? I love audiobooks.
I've only done a few children's books just because I don't have the time to do these. You know, I don't have 30 hours to do all these.
Oh,
things.
I've never recorded. I would want to,
Yeah,
but I
bless
listen
you,
to them
Corey.
all the time. I just
Oh,
finished
yeah,
Eric Larson's latest book, Dead Wake, and it was so good. I heard David Morse
Yeah,
do the
I usually-
Andromeda Strain.
I usually only listen to audiobooks if it's like read by the author.
Oh, that's so funny. A lot of times, yeah, the author's good, but a lot of times, like David Morse, I don't know if you know who he is, pretty famous actor, and he did the Andromeda Strain, and it was fantastic. Namaste. I do audiobooks a lot because reading, like, I have a tough time. It just knocks me out. But when I'm driving, I'll play an audiobook more so than I'll do it. I do save David Sedaris. I like a lot.
Here's the interesting thing. I think we should be allowed to have. I should be able to license my voice out to do the work
in perpetuity.
Only I should. Right.
Yeah.
I don't
that's what
think
James Earl Jones did.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Like, you own your own voice model too. So like you have exclusive rights to it. You just load it in and it just reads the whole book for you, and you don't have to do any of it.
Well, here's the interesting talk
it's like
about
ultimate laziness.
Well, right.
But it will eventually come out that way because you can do that with scripts. You can put a script in if you want to learn your lines. It will read the opposite lines.
Well, now
as an actor, kind of. Yeah.
Well, yeah, crazy. But this is where okay, Korey, you're the new Barney. I am a second version of Tough Nut from How to Train Your Dragon. Okay, now in theory, they could have used the original actor's voice for Tough Nut because when I did it, there was a capability to have an AI model kind of do it, but they wanted something to be new and the old character. They wanted this character to have grown up. And because the character the person who had done the voice, that was his voice always at a default. They're like, all right, look, since we recast, maybe something new with it. So I think, and tell me if you think this is the way it goes, because I panicked a little bit. When I saw that James Earl Jones licensed his voice out as a guy who does ADR and voice matching, I was like, oh crap, that's the end of that part of my job. But then I realized maybe not, because maybe I don't do the impression of the actual person because they can license out their voice.
Yeah.
But now their character, maybe that's so, because I'm now talking to the new version of the character, right?
Here's the one thing I think that will keep humans involved is the listening part of the process, because when it's an AI, it doesn't hear the words before it. It's just saying it the way phonetically it thinks it's supposed to respond. And it's doing it in a generic way where it's been told how, if you're told fire, you're like, oh my God, there's a fire. But when you see Will Ferrell, a lot of times he has this cadence that is off. There's a reaction to it because he's listening it and he responds in a way that you wouldn't. And so I think for you, especially Justin, when you're responding as a voiceover actor, do you want to have an AI guy do like 100 takes and then have to listen to them and pick the one that fits where you're at to correspond to the other? Or do you want to hear the scene play out where people are responding Jason?
I asked my AI about this and he responded, if you'd like to hear.
I would.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. That's specific. Jeez Louise. And by the way, if you guys are, if you're watching this on Twitter or Instagram, we cannot see your messages. So come find us on YouTube, The Parents Lounge, or Facebook, The Parents Lounge. Hit it.
All right, here it comes.
And do you want to?
While AI technology is advancing rapidly, I don't think it will ever fully replace human actors in movies and voiceovers. There's something special about the emotion and creativity that humans bring to their performances that would be difficult for AI to completely replicate. However, AI can certainly enhance the creative process and make certain tasks easier for filmmakers and voice actors. It'll be interesting to see how this technology continues to develop over time.
I feel like AI and I are very similar in our thought process of that.
Holy crap, that was crazy.
Or AI knows that it's actually going to replace us at some point, and it's just trying to act like it doesn't because it doesn't want to get destroyed right now.
Also, I wouldn't.
It's already analyzed.
It's Shogun. He's playing the long game. Say it again, Jason.
Don't trust an AI version of me. He's an asshole.
I mean, it's just like you. What can I tell you? To go back to my fifth grader of going through, here was one of the things that they did that I was so blown away by, which the whole meeting, I'm like, all I want to do is email all the parents and go, hey, which one of you jackasses is going to give your kid a cell phone and open the dam? That's what I wanted to say. I said, I wanted to send out an email that said, hey, can we all kind of agree? No iPhones this year. No phones for your kid in 6th grade. And then towards the end of the meeting, the teachers brought out this thing. It's this national thing you can sign. It's called a pledge to not give my kid a smartphone until after 8th grade, till the first year of high school. And we signed it. And I just was hoping everybody signed it, because here's the dilemma. When one person goes, whatever, just give them the iPhone, then that kid has it. The second kid has it. They're communicating, and your kid is immediately ostracized from that group.
Well,
they are a group,
have
and you're out.
They're not out of it. Oh, they have Snapchat. They have this, and why don't I have it? And that's the same thing going on with my wife's friend's daughter's 12, and she's like, and that's why. And interesting to hear what you say, Corey, because I have a son who just over 3 weeks, so I've got a little while to worry about that.
We
but
already
I can't
at 3
imagine.
weeks. It's just time's flying by, Taylor.
Yeah, I know it was 10 months.
3 years.
It's going back and forth 3 years. But I can't.
You're never going to let me
imagine-
forget that one speech impediment I had. Where instead of saying 10 days, I
because
said 10 weeks.
you
You're
wouldn't
literally
let- you
every
wouldn't do
week
it
you
to
just
me.
can.
You wouldn't
Be
let
fair.
me. So.
I deserve every bit of it, and I applaud it.
What do you
Thank
think
for
about that,
meeting.
Corey? Though, like about kids and having like cell phones and stuff like that, like or smart devices, really in general, like too early.
Yeah, I mean, my daughter, sadly, my daughter watches her tablet a lot. So, we let her watch, but I also only let her watch stuff that I put on it right now. So
There
like
you
it's
go.
not connected to the
therein lies
internet. I mean,
the-
it is connected to the internet, but it's like I generally won't let her. I mean, like it's just YouTube Kids, but she doesn't really use that.
We
as
all
much
did that,
as, like,
dude. That's
I loaded,
not bad. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's like
I
giving.
loaded,
I
like,
used to
stuff
Sesame
in there.
Street and stuff. Yeah.
Let
No,
me-
all of a
Jay,
sudden you
like
get
I
to
have
Roblox.
an SD card in it, and it's
Daughter might be using the internet right now, as a matter of fact.
Your daughter's on the internet right now, my friend, because you just broke up. And I was like, wait,
Slowing
is that
down
me?
there.
Yeah,
You were
maybe.
like, I'm.
Yeah, so it's-
I thought it was just me.
The AI me didn't like him outing his plans.
Sorry about that.
That's right.
So funny.
I must destroy him.
Well,
Yeah, I
Now
guess.
that
Jamie-
stuff's
Jamie-
okay. Listen, the tablet's fine. When we go out to dinner, we give the kids and stuff. It's not so much that; it's free reign of the internet.
that's right.
And
That's
the ability
exactly
to
what
have
I'm
Yeah,
social media
yeah.
because they talk about bullying a lot. And
Well,
I listen.
Jamie,
Yeah,
I had
social
to-
media. I feel like the later you can get a kid, like if you can keep them off of that for as long as possible, the better, because it's really. I mean, when you start looking at all the studies that have been done on that, I mean, it's just terrible for even for adults. It's not good for us either. I mean, really, honestly, like it's terrible for like self-esteem. It's terrible for attention. It's a lot of stuff.
Well, here's what I wanted to ask Jamie, because I can't remember when I met your daughters. I think one time they came home from school, they were in uniforms. Is that correct?
They go to a Catholic school. Yeah, they go to a.
Okay, so the reason I asked is because when I was a kid, there was a huge debate about all kids across the United States. That was a presidential debate going to uniforms.
Why I chose it. I love uniforms.
Right, because they were like, hey, here's what that does. For a long period of time for young people, it says, hey, you're going to develop first a personality before you allow the stuff from the outside world to determine what your personality is by good marketing. And so the kids who couldn't afford to have Nike didn't have to feel bad about not having Nike. The kid who didn't have the smartphone didn't have to feel bad because his parents couldn't afford the smartphone. So that was the debate. Let me ask this: as somebody who's seen your kids in uniforms, do you think that helps? Did you find that to be
It's the greatest thing
advantageous?
that's ever happened. Yeah,
Really?
I mean, it makes mornings unbelievable. We do have free dress occasionally, so
Yeah,
they're pretty
yeah,
good
yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
And I see other kids like dressed to the nines, where they're obviously. I'm like, well, your parents made you wear that outfit.
Right.
And some kids have matching outfits, and you're like, well, your two moms are best friends, and I get it. You're their play dolls. I see what's happening.
Yeah.
But it's sometimes my wife tries to dress my daughter in clothes she thinks she should be in, and my daughter who has great style. I'm like, just let her wear what she wants to wear, dude, and create her own style. But I think uniforms are the best thing. It's Einstein. Einstein had 7 suits, Monday through Sunday, and that was his suit. It's the same suit. He just had 7 of them, and he put it on, and that was his suit. And it didn't. There's no distraction from anything else. And
Isn't that like in all the films where they come from the future and they're wearing all like that one outfit, and it just seems like it's a peaceful place? So
Zuckerberg and Jobs did the same thing. They're just like, look, we found one thing we like, we're going with it.
Yeah. And
one less thing to think about.
They're really good with that.
Hey, we're for the cartoon characters.
We're cartoon. I have a big bit about them. I won't talk about it. But they yeah, so here was my one thought process, and I want to hear what you guys have to say about this, and all the people commenting is, they talked extensively about bullying and the difference between joking and teasing, and how some kid will feel hurt and the other kid comes to the principal and goes, I was just joking, and and then the main emphasis was on the person who was the bully. Remember when we used to say sticks and stones break your bones, and names will never hurt you? We've gone away from that. And so, yes, listen, of course, your kid's a bully, step in. I don't want people to be bullied. But I also, as a guy who's gone to thousands of auditions and been told no, been told, you're too ugly, this isn't working, you get numb to it, and all of a sudden this beautiful being comes out who goes, I don't give a what you think.
Yeah.
And I want to create that with my children, and I talk to them extensively about it. And sometimes I'll tease them in the same way I got teased about because we're redheads and we're gingers and we're white skinned, and I go, own it, man. It's a beautiful thing. You have porcelain
He does it not only
skin.
to his kids, but also to me.
Yeah, I do it to everybody. To go own it, and to go. So even like I was shooting today, and apparently I didn't realize it. I'm getting a bald spot because they came over and they had the little. And she goes, "Hey, you want me to? I forget what she goes. Atomize that." She goes, "You want me to atomize the top of your head?" I go, "I don't know what you're saying." And she goes, "Well, I can atomize that and kind of take it out." And I think it's also it's thinning, but it's also white. I'm whiting in my crown.
That's all it
so
is. I think that's all it is.
It's balding. I'm starting to lose my hair, but I'm also 100 years old. So without even missing a beat, like she kind of whispered it, I go, "Oh no, fill it in. I don't care. Do what you got to do."
I remember when this is all oak trees over
I'm
here.
gonna fry her tuck and shave it.
Can't wait to have some applesauce after this.
I used to call it the Red Forest.
So she atomized it. She atomized it or whatever, and I was like, yeah. And then I thought about it, and I was like, this is the way. Listen, and I talk to my kids all the time. I go, listen, I don't know what to tell you. This is your vessel for the journey. I think you can cringe and be, like I don't have a great chest. I don't have that bulbous, like muscle bound chest. It's not who I am. My shoulders are like this. This is it. There's nothing you can do, man. This is your car for the journey. Either love it or don't, but I don't know what to tell you, man. And so my kids sometimes are like, they want to dye their hair. They want it because they're bright red hair and stuff. And so during the meeting, she kept talking about, about bullying and people bullying. And part of me wanted to go, hey, how about if we also teach our kids to toughen the fuck up and go and not care and go, if somebody goes, hey, you're fat, go shut the fuck up. I don't care what you think, dude. Like there's something to that, right?
I think just the issue is that, again, Facebook and stuff came out right when I was going into college. And I think the problem is when we were all bullied and picked on or harassed or teased, it stayed at school, or if you had some kids in the neighborhood, you go home. Very true. Yeah. But now with social media,
I think, yes.
Yeah, you can't escape it and that's why I think limiting social media for such a long time so you can toughen up the right way because people can create fake accounts to harass me. And this is happened to our mutual friends' kids and stuff like that. And it was just but it is something that said, sorry.
Yeah. No, Taylor, yes, I would normally take Taylor's side, but I hate this. Jamie's so right. Oh God, I hate
Oh,
that.
no,
Jamie is
no,
so
No,
right.
I think both
No,
sides
no,
are
no,
right.
but-
Like, listen.
No.
Somebody
No,
called me
here-
about
here-
my kid bullying. I said, hey, yes, I'm so sorry. We are about inclusion.
But
We
I
don't
appreciate you
isolate
taking
other
ownership
kids.
for that, Jamie, because some parents
Yes.
aren't doing that.
I called some
but
other
it-
woman and I said your kid was bullying mine, and then she hasn't spoken to me again for the rest of the year. She lit me
What-
up at the other moms. She went
What I was
after
go-
me. I was like,
What I was-
she said, I said, hey, we had a problem and your daughter was bullying me. And she goes, what did she say to you? And I go, listen, I don't know. I'm just saying. She said she was mean to her. She goes, well, I need words. And I go, listen, whatever. I'm just telling you this. I don't really care. Obviously, nothing's going to be resolved from this, but I'm just saying your daughter was a dick to my kid. And she goes, and then I was the bad guy. All the moms teamed up on me. I was like, so now I go to parties and literally like there's like 3 or 4 women who go and they turn their back and don't talk
You've
to
been
me.
shunned.
Well, yeah.
Man,
Well, see,
I have
but-
a
see, but
scarlet
that's-
jackass on my chest,
is-
and I'm always like, hey.
Jamie, this is where I was going to agree with you. Is what I was going to say. Once you get to adulthood now, there will never be another generation of kids who isn't going to have to deal with this. So
They're the test. They're the test models.
So from right now, you guys, you gentlemen who have young boys and girls growing up right now, you have to be like, sorry, look, I don't really have a roadmap. You guys are the roadmap. Unfortunately, we created the technology, and now you guys have to live in it. And so to yes and Jamie,
I'm reading
they're
these
going to have
comments.
to.
Sorry.
Yeah, all the kids
Asshole
are.
Junior.
Yeah, and
Corey,
and
aren't they the best? We have such great
Yeah, we have the
members
best
of the
fans.
show.
too.
It's so fun.
But they're gonna have to find some way to be even stronger. So
listen.
yeah,
You
They're gonna have
can say, hey, wouldn't it be great if everybody didn't bully? And you go like, yeah, let's all get involved and not bully. And then you see in the news some dude in Alabama named his son Adolf Hitler, and you're like, all right, well, listen, there's going to be some bullying. Maybe we should get ready. That dude named his kid Adolf Hitler.
I don't know if that was a good idea.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Like, these people are naming their kids, and you're like, well, obviously,
You're just asking
that
for
dude
it.
is not going to be the most forgiving parent at school.
dude, I do silly, stupid voices on the internet. Okay, voices on the
As
internet.
does
But
Corey, Taylor, and Jason.
right. But
They're
that's
the only-
but that's what I mean. Like that's all I'm. That's literally how I'm making most of my money right now, and I still get people going, "You're really horrible. You're really bad at this. You should quit your job. You should be shit." And then like
This is my
taking,
job.
and I'm like,
Do you like that last one I
And-
put,
and-
Justin? I thought you'd appreciate that one. So
yeah, exactly. Thank you, Taylor. I'm like, God, we're together. But my point is, it never stops. It's always going to be there. It's going to be like high school at 41. So
bullying is just
we have to
just
get used
the
to it.
bullies grow up. The bullies grow up. Unfortunately, they just
Corey,
don't
did
grow
you
out
ever
of it.
go
have
anywhere.
any bullying in your life? Were you ever bullied, or
No,
were you the bully?
not really. No, not really. I kind of got along with everybody. I kind of just.
I can totally see
I had
that.
I had friends in every like clique and every group. So like I was friends with football players. I was friends with nerds that nobody else would hang out with. I was friends with the band people. I was mascot my senior and junior year. So I
Were you a
wrote on all
dinosaur?
the no.
It was your mascot.
It was a panther. So
It was
I
a
watched
purple
a lot
dinosaur,
of
ding dong.
yeah. But yeah, so we watched a lot of, or I did a lot of that. So
Corey,
I was friends with
exactly the
everybody.
same. I kind of fit in with everybody, and I was a chameleon. Maybe I was a little detached. I wasn't really close with one particular group. I more skirted
Right.
around, and I try to talk to my daughters about that, about inclusion. I think inclusion and empathy is the most important thing about like seeing that maybe somebody else doesn't have a partner in science lab and going, hey, today you're my, I'm going to go out of my way to include you in this. And I talked to her extensively, and I really think that's a big part of humanity.
Yeah, I used to intentionally become friends, like make a point to become friends with like all of the foreign exchange students, because they're coming in and nobody's friends with them at all.
Right.
And they're like totally, they don't know anybody. And
Right.
but I always thought it was interesting because like I could learn all kinds of stuff from them, and learn things about their culture,
Oh,
which was awesome.
they were smarter than everybody else in my
Yeah.
class.
Yeah,
We had
absolutely.
3 foreign exchange students, and I was on the tennis team, and they were number 2, 3, and 4 on the tennis team.
Yeah.
They were just like, they spoke 4 languages, and they they smoked cloves. They knew everything. They were the greatest people. I loved it.
Now I think that was years ago. I think nowadays they would be the cooler kids in school, right?
Yeah, I think so.
As long as they're from a cool country. I think that depends too. Of like,
Well,
where are you from? Netherlands Antilles. Never heard of it. Back in the classroom. Antigua? No idea.
No.
I'm from France. Oh, I'm from France. Oh, would you like to sit up front with us? Yeah. Plenty of Paris trip.
And then
Corey,
Wednesday-
what other when you were posting stuff before Barney, what other big cartoon characters besides obviously Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck? Was it just mostly cartoon characters, or did you do impressions of living people?
Yeah, I've done a lot of different ones. Like I have, I think the ones that most of the ones that people really liked were the animated cartoon ones because I think it attracted a lot of different people. You know, the people that really like. There's a lot of people that are really into animation stuff. So, but yeah,
obviously
I was doing
we have Brendan, our Fanimator.
Stampy.
101 here is like he's actually. We keep begging him. He's working on creating cartoons. He's in school for it, and all of us have been like, dude, make the drawings, start casting us because we're going to be
literally ready here.
Yeah.
I mean, literally right here, right now, I think if we could make a show where we have, what if we had a sitcom that starred Winnie the Pooh, Barney the Dinosaur, Mrs. Doubtfire, and of course, Ryan Reynolds. How would that play out?
Hi, let me real quick, all of you sit down. We're going to find out
What are
what
we
our
doing?
orders. Well,
Mr.
if you-
Reynolds. Mr.
first of all,
Reynolds.
I'm going to need you to find pants,
Mr.
okay?
Mr.
You're making all of us
Reynolds.
uncomfortable.
Mr. Reynolds.
Oh, hello
Yes.
there,
Let's
dears. I
all love
found this
one
in the
another,
attic, dear.
and we
Look at-
can get along together.
Oh, it's
I
a
just have
talking
to go.
dinosaur, dear.
First
Oh, it's
First of all, let me
fantastic, dear.
say this. I think Ryan Reynolds would run the whole room, and he would go to people when he wanted to hear from them, so that we had give and take, because we're 5 people in 5 different cities.
Here's what's going to
so
happen. I'm going to have you all shut the fuck up. Here's what we're going to do.
Now let's
Here's what
not
have
use
everybody-
that kind of language.
Barney.
He's right. I'm with Barney involved. We cannot use
No,
that.
no.
We use a different F
apologize.
word. It's called friendship.
You're-
I should be the narrator. One day, a long time ago, Ryan Reynolds realized he had actually too much money, so he wanted to create a company with Winnie the Pooh, Mrs. Doubtfire, and Barney the Dinosaur to dictate who gets the extra money.
Here's the deal, Barney. You're going to be in charge of all flavored soft drinks. Okay, does that sound all right for you?
I think he
Barney's frozen.
The one time we actually had give and take, and Corey froze. Corey actually froze. I'm like, Corey can't be holding that expression the whole time. There's no way.
No, I froze.
Yeah,
I missed all of what you said.
Toy dinosaur form. He was like couldn't talk.
The one time he cued into the dude, and he goes, it's all locked up. You gotta get your kid off
Yeah, I heard
that
nothing
tablet,
you
dude."
said.
Back to one. And back to one, Ryan.
Barney, yeah, we've got a lot of purple colored soft drinks. We're hoping that you would be in charge of those. Do you have any ideas for marketing?
Man, I'm not good at improv.
All right, there we go.
I'm not good at
All
improv.
right, so
All right, listen, we're gonna have a full script ready to go by the next time you
Yeah.
come on this show.
scripted. Listen,
It's very scary.
She's got.
Corey,
That should
in
be
the-
a feature for the live one. We have a script we pass out and just like do the voice.
Ryan is terrifying.
Yeah.
All right, he's
extremely scary to talk to, and I apologize.
It can get very scary. I just wonder though. It's because it's so funny now. Here's what the crazy thing is. I was the guy with the youngest kid. We used to do the show, and I had all these guests on, and they were like, you don't know what you're talking about. They had like 13, 14, 16, 25-year-olds on here. And now all of a sudden, out of this group, I have the oldest kids by a long shot. It's so fast. Yep. It's so crazy. And so, like, my wife and I were watching that meeting tonight, and she's like, wow, I'm not ready for this. And I go, I'm not ready for this. It was actually kind of terrifying And she's like, I'm worried about my daughter. And I go, I'm actually not worried about her because I think she's become this person. And although she can be the worst person who's ever lived, like all of us were at that age where you're like, just told your parents, no, I'm not doing that. And, but you can start to see this force of nature coming alive. And it's the craziest thing. Do you guys remember like that? Did you guys ever reach a point where you're like, told your dad off or like, I'm not doing, it's like this crazy thing that's a rite of passage. And when you become a parent, you forget about those times where like, oh yeah, I was a total dick to my dad. Does anyone remember stuff like that?
I remember there was my mom's 5'3", and I remember one day I stood up to her like this, where I was finally got my height. I was like 5'10", 5'11", and she said something like, "You're gonna do it," and I go, "Do what?" Kind of like stood up, and she got up in my face, pulled my shirt down like that, and went, "I brought you in, I could take you out." And I went, "Whoa, shit!" And she still had it. I remember there was like that. So the struggle, and I remember saying this the other day to my mom. I said, "Mom, do you remember the I brought you in, take you out thing?" She goes, "Yeah." And I was like, You were the same age I am now."
That's so crazy. Isn't that? I mean, it's a rite of passage. So it's like we forget, like the mind only remembers things that you wanted to, but you sit there and go, oh man, if I could go back in time and apologize to my dad for being such a dick. I wish I could. I really wish I could. And so I have conversations with her and I tell her all the horrible things I did to my father. And I'm like, it was what it was, but I wish I could go back and just, and sometimes she listens, sometimes she doesn't, but it's an uphill battle at this point. I don't know. Korey, did you have that kind of thing with your parents, or you were arguably the nicest? You were a mascot, so you were the nicest person in your high school.
No, I mean, I had definitely had some times where I was not the nicest as a kid, probably difficult. Yeah. There were some times I've actually, in the last 10 years or so, I've told my dad, like, dude, I'm sorry, that was wrong. So yeah.
What did he say? Did he go, "You're damn right, you're wrong"?
Yeah, he was like, well, he's like, you were a teenager, and that just means you're an idiot. And I'm like, okay then.
Yeah, he's right.
He said really sometimes sometimes when you're a parent and you have a teenage kid, you just have to deal with that they're a moron. And I was like, yeah, thanks.
Well, Taylor, you have a 25-year-old child now. And so
basically, it's boss baby. He's just sitting around out ball.
The baby is age 25 years.
Did you reach when you were a kid with your dad and had like did anyone here ever like not a fist fight, but like a fight with their dad? That's common, right?
No, I ran.
Remember,
like
Virginia, I do that whole bit. Like my whole childhood, my dad would always be like, "If you're feeling froggy, go ahead and leap." He was always trying to fight me, and he would do it like my wedding.
Because that's a T-shirt.
Why does he sound like Hulk Hogan? It was awesome.
So Taylor, I have a whole bit. My dad, when he's angry, sounds like Macho Man Randy Savage. It's really funny. And so like he always was like, "If you're feeling froggy, go ahead and leap," and he would do it all the time. To this day, still tries to fight me. Like my wedding, my graduation.
Your wedding?
Funerals, doesn't matter. He's always trying to fight.
It's really weird that dude's picking a fight at the joyous occasions of your life. Like, what a great, beautiful day. Dad wants to fight on the patio. I got to go do this.
So I
think when I was like,
he's on his last legs, and I'm going to get real close and go, ribbit, bitch.
No, come on, Korey, what were you going to say?
When I was like 16 years old, I don't remember what it was, but me and my brother were joking around, and I told my dad that he was a washed up old safety.
Like a football safety?
Yeah. And he chased me out of the house and tackled me in the front yard. And then he was like, "How's that for washed up?" I was like, "Okay."
He got yardage lost.
Yeah, it was great.
And then your brother was like, "Sacked for 7 yards against Korey Durham."
Yeah. Yeah.
And then his father, he
took
took
to go because I know you had a hard out.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say,
Here's a
David?
guy when he runs, he calls his dad a safety, and he gets tackled. And I can't really do that voice.
The dad filmed it and then submitted it to UT for a Scott to see if he can make it. Hey man, look at this. I know I'm
forfeited
42
my-
years
I
old,
red-
but I
I
knocked
could
the
redshirt.
shit up. I could redshirt. All right, listen, we got to let Korey go, and then we'll wrap in a second. Korey, thank you so much. Where can people come find you and your Instagram account? Obviously, I think.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. Pretty much all of it is as just Korey Durham Voices. But my website, I have it's just kdvoices.com. That way, it's easy.
You don't do
You can't
Cameo.
misspell my
where
name.
People can reach out.
I
to
do.
You,
I do have Cameo. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it seems like that would be the perfect cameo to go like, "Hey, man, I would really love you to wish my friend a 60th birthday as Barney." I think that would just.
Oh yeah,
sell
I do
itself.
that a lot actually. I have a lot of parents that send me messages and like, hey, can we hire you to just do a birthday message for our 4-year-old or 6-year-old or something? And I do that all the time. In fact, I was getting enough of them earlier on that I bought a Barney puppet from like the 90s, and I used that. I wish I had it here, but it's somewhere else. But I would use that, and all you see in the video is the puppet and talking, and it's like a character, so it's great.
That's
So I
awesome.
do that.
That's super fun. And you're just
Coming
north of
to a
Dallas. You're in
Comic-Con
Texas?
near you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, that's so fantastic. Thank you so much for coming to join us. Get a chance, go check out Korey, and obviously, every time I hear Barney now, I'm gonna see your face and think about your dad tackling him.
Yeah. I actually made a video recently at a Comic-Con with Bob West, the original Barney, and because we've gotten to become friends, and so like it's a video where we're standing beside each other singing "I Love You" and we're just alternating lines, and it sounds really close.
Beautiful.
You guys need to do "Waiting for
We need
Godot"
you both on here in
Broadway.
the Battle of the Barneys. That's what we need. Both you and Bob on here in the Battle of the Barneys.
You know, I've always told everybody, like, you know, I grew up with Barney, so Bob is my Barney. He always will be, because like
I love that.
he's a good guy, and he's like, you know, he created the voice of that character. So I always say Bob is Barney. I just get lucky enough to be able to just voice it from time to time. So it's kind
I
of
love
awesome,
that.
dude.
That's awesome.
Huge thanks, Korey. Please come back and visit, man. And everyone go check him out and definitely follow his Instagram account and watch some of his voices.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we'll let him get out of here before we let everyone go. Korey, thank you so much.
Good night, Korey.
We got to wrap anyway. That was Korey needs to go. That was amazing. I'm still kind of It's so funny because I worked all day today, and my kids came to set. I brought my kids to set to watch me shoot, and basically
have they done that before?
No, because my boys and all the shows, like the huge. Actually, Hannah came to Tacoma FD because she shot a Tacoma scene as a kid on it, but she never really sat and watched me shoot. And I'm like a spokesperson for this company, and it was a super fun shoot, like 6 spots over one day, and she sat in the, they came in for like the last spot I was shooting of the day, and she sat in the back, and she's going to do a play this summer, and she's doing a summer program where there's a theater part of it, and she talks about being an actor. I want to be an actor.
She's super charismatic too. So
thank you. Sometimes, but it's I don't think I think most of this generation thinks it's not a skill, that it is a it's it's the old thing. People want to be famous, and you're like, for what? I don't care. I don't want. And the opposite, I was always the opposite. I never wanted to be famous. I loved performing, and so I did these scenes today. It was super fun. But she came and sat in the back with my other daughter and my wife, and they sat in the back and they watched like 2 takes, and then they were like, "Yeah, I'm bored." And they went to my dressing room and then went to craft services, and I didn't really see them again. I kept peeking in the back, but I was shot for like, the scene they were there. I was like 2 hours shooting this thing, and I'd shot for like 10 straight hours. And I talked to her after, and I was like, I go, "You didn't watch?" She goes, "Oh my God, it was so boring." I was like, that's the craft. That's the job, is to do the same scene 100 times, because they're going to shoot it from a million different places. And that's really what the job is. Can you repeat this thing over and over again? And she, in some ways, she's like Gene Hackman, because she has done a couple of auditions, and after 2 takes, she's like, "Got it, moving on." And you're like, dude, you don't have it. But the work ethic of, I would have shot that thing another 7 hours. It was so much fun, and we would do it every different way. And she's more about am I famous from this thing I just did, or did I really love what I was doing? And so, she's only 10. Who's to say what they'll end up doing? But I think this generation, when I was a kid, if somebody could sing, it was a freak. That kid was a freak. And all of a sudden, America's Got Talent, The Voice, American Idol, everybody sings. Everybody sings. And people think they're amazing singers. Everybody just wants to be famous, but nobody wants to do the craft. Justin?
Here's what I think you just nailed on, though. We think everybody sings, right? There's been 22 seasons of America's Got Talent, 19 seasons of 24 seasons of American Idol, right?
Yeah.
If we total that up, that means that's like 500 people who've ever been on that show singing. So while it feels like everybody, it really is only 500 people.
And I guess it's true. It's the exposure.
And out of those people, only a handful, I would argue, could really sing.
We haven't seen William Hung in a while.
But she bangs. She bangs.
She does bang. That's the point, is that what feels like something isn't necessarily reality. When we're like, oh, it feels like everybody can sing. I play a lot of golf. A lot of people say to me, I'm really, I can play golf. I can shoot in the 80s or the 90s. Yeah. And I'm like, really? You could? If I take away the opportunity to just throw down an extra ball.
Yeah.
Well, no. I know. Okay. So when we're talking about singing or acting or the things that are put up in front of everything, we as a perception think, oh, yeah, everybody does that. But it's really just this amount of people who do it. It's just in front of us all the time. So that's what we think it is. We just think they're there. Maybe.
Kids today, they say they want to be influencers, but they don't really understand. I know some influencers, as we all do. It's 100 hours a week. It is the hardest job on earth. And the 1 week you take off and go, look, I can't put up content. I'm going overseas for a vacation. People are like, bye-bye. It's a grind. And they just want the fame part, but they don't want, like, if my daughter really, like, one day goes, I really want to act, and she starts to pull out Shakespeare and she's like, wants to do the craft of it, I will support anything she wants to do. But I think sometimes our kids are getting lured into this vein of, what's the Kardashian way? What's the easiest path to success? Instead of
the path of least resistance.
Hannah said something really interesting on the way out on set today. We were saying everyone that took a photo with the crew and the the director was a woman from Brazil who was absolutely so fantastic and like collaborative. It was so fun to shoot today. And we were leaving, Hannah said something. She goes, is the makeup artist here? Because I always wanted to be a makeup artist, and I could see that. And I was like, and then I talked to her, I go, makeup artist is cool, but do you think about prosthetic makeup artists, like monster make? And she goes, yeah, so who knows what they'll fall into, but I feel like sometimes they get caught in this vein of, the highlight actor, singer to be famous, as opposed to find something you love. Whether whether you're going to make a lot of money or not, I can't dictate that. But what I can tell you is if you find something you love, you won't care. It's the old thing. Yeah. If you love what you do, you don't work a day. I was going to say, I don't feel like I've ever worked.
I was going to say, I think the wave has crashed and rolled back on the Kardashian life. That recent Hollywood Bowl appearance from Northwest finally kind of pulled the curtain back. And as somebody who spends way too much time on TikTok, the younger generations are going, This is what we were talking about. In the book 1984, they thought it was going to be people like the really good people weighing themselves down to appease the proletariat, the masses. But it turns out it's the rich people's kids that they're like, hey, we control the means So we're shoving these people in front of you.
Sure.
And so what's happening is the social media aspect of things, I think it's turned the whole world on them. There's a trend on social media to block like Jennifer Lopez, the Kardashians, and it's like, and because they have no connection to the world, so that your kids' generations are going to go, yeah, that is messed up. Why don't they cry? Why don't they have wrinkles? Why don't they have fat? Why don't they? This doesn't make any sense. Like all that crap.
J-Lo canceled her tour because she wanted to spend time with her family.
Bullshit.
The ticket sales were garbage. And by the way, I'm sorry. What family does she have again? Ben Affleck? Is that? She's like,
right.
Ben Affleck and I just really want to shut the blank up. Nobody wants.
Yep.
When you go, it's my greatest hits. I mean, I'm sure she has some fans. I could, and obviously, I'm not her target demo, but I don't want to denigrate anybody who's out there working and putting stuff together. But there's this whole bravado thing of like, you're more famous because the publicity people you paid this much money to a publicist every month so that you're in People magazine.
Bingo.
In the little section that says who wore it best. Who gives a fuck who wore it?
Yeah.
I'm so, and it's like,
you know what
there are
I think
Nepo babies I see that are super talented. And then there's other people. It is what it is, but it's like,
here's something that you guys, on Instagram and on TikTok and on Snapchat, there's filters, and they'll augment your face so well that there's one of them called like deep makeup or something like that, or glamour or something like that. I can't remember what it's called, but on Bold,
I'm using it now.
Oh, I can see it on TikTok. Bold glamour is what it's called. The Bold Glamour 2 filter. And when you put it on, like everything looks perfect. Like your face gets sharper, and like they sharpen it. And what happened was a whole bunch of people went, "Oh, wait a second! I kid you not." All the kids on TikTok and everyone, wait, this is what celebrities do with Photoshop. And they would just turn it on and turn it off, and they'd go, "Oh, we can all do this if we had enough time and money." And I'm going, That's it. You get it. That's it.
It's about doing what makes you happy. And so when I talk to my kids a lot, all I ever talk about is like, hey, find what you love, and I will support you in any way I can. That's all I can tell you. I don't care if you make $1 billion or it is what it is.
I mean,
Taylor,
Taylor's got a 15-year-old already.
I was going to say, Taylor, let's talk about really quickly. I do have to go. Oh my gosh, it's holy cow. Oh, is Korey back? Shut your mouth.
Korey wants to do the outro.
Oh, perfect. Really quick, Taylor. Because honestly, we started your show right on arrival, and we are 4 weeks in, almost 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
Korey, we're talking about Taylor has a 4-week-old. How's life, my brother?
I mean, it's definitely, I think a lot of that don't tell you, it's get better. Oh, but this is great. It's a back and forth pull of you got to enjoy this and you look forward to stuff. And there's a lot of 5 steps forward and then 13 back. You just have to, keep remembering that everything's new. This is all new. I'm trying to figure things out. And just the same as I am.
Yeah, you're never.
But I
can
give
we save you the problem? And
shout out to my wife.
You're never going to figure
she's been
anything
amazing.
out. As soon as you figure something out, it's going to change. So don't waste your time. Is my argument. Korey, what do you think about that?
Maybe use it on the next one, but maybe not.
Yeah. Listen, the first one's just a test version. What you're doing is a test version. And honestly, that kid, you could just, after you mess it up, what do you know? Throw it away.
It's like your first Lego set, Taylor. You'll have fun with it, but you're going to lose pieces along the way, and it'll be damaged. But you'll get another Lego set.
It lives in the garage.
Very
it's
dark.
not that big of a deal. You won't play with it ever again. It's a train wreck.
The darkest analogy I ever heard, but thank you.
That's what I'm here for.
Korey, thank God you're back. It all fell apart as soon as you left, man. We were lost.
Yeah.
Are you coming in for the outro officially? Because now it's 9:20 and I got to go put 2 kids to bed because I still have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday. I have 6 more days of school.
Jamie, he came to sing the song. That's how we end the show.
No,
Korey?
he's got something else.
I don't think he can.
Wait,
Oh, can we
no,
can we
no, no,
can
no,
we
no,
throw
no,
to
no,
you
you
for the
can't.
outro and you have something planned, Corey?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
please.
Ladies and
Shut
gentlemen,
up.
listen, thank you so much for watching our show. We're going to do an outro with Korey Durham, who is gracious enough to participate with us tonight. And we're sorry if we denigrated the majesty of what he does at all, because he has the voice of Barney, and it's something that it's Excalibur has been handed to him, and he is holding it strongly. But we're the little jokers and fools and knaves near him, trying to bring it down to garbage. But he's going to bring us out. For Jason Gowan, Taylor Sokol, Justin Ruppel, myself, thank you guys. If you're watching on Twitter or Instagram, we cannot see your messages. Please come find us on YouTube, The Parents Lounge, or Facebook, The Parents Lounge. That's our main 2 sites where we can monitor your input, and then we can give you shout outs. And we're so thankful for you guys commenting along, and for all the fans who comment along. We love you guys. I mean, honestly, you make my week every time I do it. And typically we're Thursdays 8 p.m. We are Tuesday this week only because we all have some gigs this week and we cannot do Thursday, so we did this as kind of a fun night, and Korey was gracious enough to join us. Anybody else before I throw the then let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of Barney, Korey Durham.
And that's all, folks.
It was Bugs Bunny. Wait, now I can't outro. You got it. It's so good. But I would have done it. But now listen.
That was Porky.
I'm in Porky. Oh, gosh. Can you do a little Barney on the way out the door?
And remember, I love you.
I mean, if you can't be warm from that, then I can't help you. All right, everybody. We love you so much. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next time here in the Parents Lounge.
Good night, everybody.